Hey, I'm Phil, and I'm back here in my cozy cabin, but you know what? I think I'm done with this place. I guess that's better. Anyway, as always, send questions to askphil at mmhmm.app, and I will try to answer the best ones every week. We got some great questions this week. First question is, what upcoming feature are you most excited about? I'm going to answer that in three ways. First thing is the recently released feature that I'm most excited about is definitely slides. This is from mmhmm 1.2 for Mac, which just came out last week. Lets you add slides really easily just by typing them in or importing from a PowerPoint or Keynote or PDF. There's animations, there's transitions, there's all sorts of really cool things. It's just beautiful. But there's a hidden feature in slides. We didn't mean to hide it. I think we just did unintentionally. That is my favorite. Super powerful. It's if you click on the slide editor, if you double click on a slide in the slide tray, there's a checkbox that says customize room and presenter controls for this slide. And if you check that, then everything you set up, the room you're in, your filters, where you are, all of that stuff is remembered and pinned for that slide. Next time you go to that slide, everything resets back to that. So you can basically choreograph your entire presentation and then just hit the next button, which is what I do now. And honestly, I don't know how I lived without it. Now, the feature that I am most excited that's coming up as the CEO of the company is, of course, the release of mmhmm for Windows. You see what we did there? I'm excited about this because there's a lot of Windows users, and I want as many people as possible to have mmhmm and to be better on video. We are hard at work on this, like we talked about last week. We're in closed beta now, but we're going to get into open beta by the end of the winter, the start of the spring, and then general availability right after that. And now there is a feature that I am genuinely excited about that's coming up as a user that I can't wait to use myself. But I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's secret. But we will be talking about it pretty soon. Next question is, who is your competition? This is a really good question. Let me talk a little bit about my philosophy of competition for startups. In fact, I have this whole model for startup competition, which is the rock, paper, scissors model of startup competition. Basically goes like this. Brand new startups are scissors. Recently successful, bigger startups are rocks. And big companies are paper. And the threat model works the way you expect. So if you're a brand new startup, if you're a scissor, you've got to be really quick, really sharp. You're not threatened by the big companies. You're not threatened by paper because they're just too slow. You can take their customers, you can improve on their features. They could be great partners for you, or they could be targets, but they're not really competitors. Of course, other scissors aren't competitors because it doesn't matter what other startups are doing. It only matters whether you could be successful enough. But you are threatened as a small startup by the rocks. These are the recently successful startups, the startups that have a bunch of traction because they're not big, slow companies yet. And so if you do something really interesting, they can do something even better. They can move almost as quickly as you can. But when they move with millions of dollars or millions of users. You know, there's some real oomph there. So when you are starting a new company, a brand new startup, you ideally don't want to start in an area where there's a bunch of rocks, where there's a bunch of recently successful startups. You want to start in an area where there hasn't been much innovation in a few years, where it's just paper. Unfortunately, a lot of founders and especially investors think about this the wrong way. A lot of startups are created exactly because there's a lot of rocks, because the investors will sit around and be like, these other guys just recently made a startup and now it's worth $1 billion and maybe we should do the same thing. It's probably not a great idea because those recent multi-billion-dollar unicorns, they're the rocks. They're the ones that are hard for really young startups to compete with. So we are scissors. We're only a few months old. I only got started in May. And we were making really big strides, but our goal is to completely ignore, not even really know about competition until we're a rock, until we have a lot more revenue and customers and everything else. And hopefully we'll get there pretty soon. And then when we are a rock, then we won't really care about the raw startups because we can move faster and with more force than them. But we will have to start worrying about the paper, about the big companies, because paper does threaten rock. Because the big companies have the paper, the money, the contracts, the lawyers. They can compete on price. They can do like all of this other stuff. And of course, if you're paper, if you're a big company, you don't really care about like the medium-sized, recently successful startups because you can always just buy them. But you do have to worry about the scissors. So that's how I see it. We're ignoring the competition completely until we get to rock phase. So for now, every other company is either a partner of ours or nothing, or we just don't really care that they exist. Next question is, will there be an iPad version? Yes. Yes, there will be. Mobile is super important to us. Mobile is a little bit harder than desktop because there's a bunch of tricks and techniques on desktop, like virtual cameras, that we don't have access to on mobile. And so on desktop, it's pretty easy to work with everything. But on mobile, if we want to work with Zoom and WebEx and YouTube and everything else, we're going to have to do a lot more work integrating it. So we are working on that. We plan on launching an iPad version and other mobile versions in the second half of the year, so starting in a couple of months. And there's going to be a whole bunch of other cool functionality that we can put in mobile that you can't put in the desktop. So yeah, we will have iPad, iPhone, Android, everything else on mobile in the next few months. All right, our next question is, are you hiring? Yeah, definitely. Yep, we are definitely hiring. This is our jobs page, mmhmm.app/jobs. Please come here. We list all of our positions here, or most of our positions. I think there's over 20 right now, and we list more almost every day. And we are hiring all kinds of people, engineers, designers, writers, editors, advertising people, marketing people, lawyers, just about everyone. And we are a fully global team. We are committed to being fully distributed. All of our jobs are listed for anywhere in the world. So wherever you live, if you are really talented and you want to be part of inventing the future of video, please go to mmhmm.app/jobs and see if any of our job listings are interesting to you. And our last question today is, how much will cost? Well, let me tell you how much does cost right now. It's $10 a month or $100 a year for a consumer subscription. We'll be adding a version for companies in the future. We'll have some kind of corporate pricing, and there's a free version. We are freemium, so you can use for free with basic functionality, and everyone gets the premium functionality, all of the advanced stuff for free for the first week, and then for 1 hour every day, so they can always see what you could pay for. But then if you just want to have no limits, then it's $10 a month or $100 a year. And free for all education. So until at least the end of this year, the end of 2021, if you're a teacher or a student of any kind, you can get the premium version for free. And all of this is stuff that we're going to have to figure out. We're going to change different prices. We're going to experiment with prices in different countries and for different organizations. Because we have kind of one rule about revenue at which is this. The product is the product. You know how sometimes, especially for tech products, you hear people say, well, if you're not sure what the product is, you're the product. That's not the case for You're not the product. You are the customer. Our product is our product. The only way we make money is when people or individuals or companies or groups pay us to use our product. It's a very old-fashioned business model, direct revenue only. We don't do advertising. We don't try to figure out complex ways to sell your data or to target you or to monetize any of that. We make money the old-fashioned way by selling something that people want to buy because they want to use that. Because I think all of the indirect business models are really complicated. And honestly, I'd rather not have to think about them. I'd rather save all the cleverness for the product. But also, I think a lot of what's wrong with the world with tech is because of the indirect business model. So we just want to avoid all of that stuff completely. So right now it's $10 a month, $100 a year. There may be different permutations later. Something will be free, something will be paid, but it'll be direct revenue only. And we're going to have to keep experimenting because we need people and companies to pay for the product. That's how we make money. I mean, the insurance fees are definitely not going to cover things.